Hello, welcome to another tonalist landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy. And the painting I'm bringing you today is called Coastal Tree. It's a 3.5 by 3.5, and I painted this a couple days ago. And I wanted to do a little one because I'm testing out this new camera. It did pretty well. We're still working with it, but it kind of made me appreciate my previous camera is still working. It was a bit of a backup from a supplementary camera. Anyway, from your part, I don't think you'd even notice if I hadn't said something. Uh, so I thought 3.5 by 3.5, make it real small, get it done real quick, and then take it home and examine the footage, which is what I did. Although prior to doing that, I will tell you that I painted a version of this scene before. I think I flipped the tree, and also that was more rectangular. A lot of times you'd be surprised you could take one of your rectangular references and crop it to a square, and that works in a lot of cases. It can work. Squares are interesting. One tip I'd heard is that the masters never worked with the true square. Um, they would always make it a little higher or longer on one side, and I can see the wisdom in that. I would like to do that too, but yeah, that's just not going to work. Anyway. So we're starting with our underpainting here. Now we're working on a bit of MDF. It's got two good coats of house paint that are tinted to match like a burnt sienna tone. We are doing an underpainting here with burnt umber, and that has been augmented with some rose madder, and that'll give us a nice kind of red is a very good support color for the landscape. It's great under greens, mostly because it's great under greens, but it isn't bad under your sky either. So there are a couple other colors that work well, like raw umber. I think yellow ochre works pretty well. I get problems because it's kind of light where if I'm putting my darks in, sometimes it'll streak a bit, but I got some workarounds. In fact, I think I'd use a possible workaround like that here, even though it wasn't that light. And I don't mind telling you since it's just occurred to me. So if I'm going over my darks, I'm getting like a lot of times I'll get streaking because I like my darks thin, so I have more oil in the paint. I will sometimes add Mars Black instead of my usual Ivory Black. Ivory Black is a great color. It's an amazing color, and I will never replace it on my palette. But it is quite transparent, so sometimes if you need to up the opacity, you can add Mars Black, which is not as pretty, but it has the opacity, and sometimes black is black. Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to have to sniffle there a little bit. It's a bit of a pain to pause the video. Yeah, pollen going around. It seems like a lot of people are catching the lurgy too. Not me. Not me. Not going to get me. Okay, so coming in with the sky, and well, this is a great little mini example, of how you can approach your standard blue sky, right? And lately I pulled out the my tube of cobalt. Now I painted with cobalt blue for many years, and it's an expensive pigment. It's very beautiful blue. And then I ended up switching over to phthalo and its sister color, which is Prussian blue. I think Prussian blue and phthalo are very, very similar. Hold on. Another little sniffle there. It's live, folks. Live in the home office anyway. Um, but I was thinking about it after it'd been so long since I'd even used any cobalt, and kind of like an old girlfriend. You think, oh, she was great. Yeah, that was great. But I didn't think I got as nice a real kind of blue sky color. I don't think, in my mind. I mean, a lot of people actually really love ultramarine, but I'm not a fan of ultramarine. And getting to my point, I think phthalo is the best match with the actual blue of the sky, and I spend a lot of time looking at the sky because I like to get outside and get a little bit of sun. Very good for your health. Anyway, yeah, you'd think I'd be outside appreciating nature. Usually, before I go to a scene like this, I'll get my camera out, take a picture, and then I want to get back to my studio and paint it. I'm a studio painter, my friends. I'm gonna have a sip of coffee here. Okay, so sky's in. We're doing some darks now. The darks, like I said, I was struggling a bit, and there you just saw me pick up my tube of Mars Black, which really helped. I actually one of the reasons this is a little bit more occurring to me a bit more this kind of streaks in the darks is because of the fairly slippery nature of the house paint surface. Now, the when I'm working on hardboard, that's also very smooth and slippery, but it's kind of got, I think, a little bit more grab than the house paint. But I think the working on the hardboard all those years, that smooth surface has prepared me for the little extra slickness of the house paint surface. Now, I do go over it with a block of sandpaper block very lightly prior to painting, and that definitely helps. Pardon me. So one of the things I did, I was thinking, I want a little square. I started thinking, well, I should do one that I think I can sell in this area, and that's why you see a lot of these paintings. Tree and Sea sells out here. Um, oh, hey, it's the book. We just got a great order for the book, and we're going to ship it out ASAP. And so thrilled am I to share this book all over the world. This looks like a little bit slower version of my book ad, but the book, 10 years of painting knowledge, all dedicated to learning how to paint in a toneless manner. There are no other books about painting in a toneless way out there right now, so grab it. I'll ship it to you. $60 US, international shipping's included, and we're holding the line on the price. We're going to see, probably about a month or so, I'm going to have to place another order here, and we'll see what the printer says. Last time he didn't raise his price, so if he don't raise his price, I don't raise mine either. I don't make a lot of the book, but it thrills me for it to be getting out in the world. Yeah. Okay, so here I did work in some dark greens, but not a lot. And actually, this is my dark green. I didn't want to spread too far off of that the black. There's this kind of a contrast, a lot of contrast in the reference image, and there was this very orangey green quality to the middle tone in the leaves, which we're going to be getting to. But even here's a bit of a lesson for you. So say you've got a highlight in your trees, it's a real orangey type of green or reddish type of green. You need to make sure that you're bringing some of that into the other greens as well. I mean, and even in this case, that really dark color, I'm going for a contrasty kind of thing. Has the burnt umber in it, so it's warmed it up a little bit. Yeah, my highlight color there is, it's that Mike's green, which is acrylite yellow, and black as a base. And then I brought in some cadmium orange and then cadmium yellow, and that's making me the really beautiful light green. And in a little painting like this, you really want to simplify things. So these types of trees, they're called Pohutukawas out here. Oh, they got dozens and dozens of branches coming off from they can even have multiple trunks coming out from their base. I always simplify them. I simplify every tree I paint, if you hadn't noticed. But at this size, I think I'm going to do a little tiny branch. I usually just see how a few branches I can do to tell the story. I would rather just have a bit of sky peeking through or some nice leaves or something. That took me years. I was just looking at some trees I painted in 2013, and that wasn't the lesson I had in my mind then. I painted every single trunk off of this tree, and so many of the hallmarks of what make my paintings attractive. The warmth and the brushwork and the things like that. Were evident in this painting, but the structure of the tree itself was not that great. And it's on the channel. You can find all my lesser paintings, not all of them, God knows. But you can find a lot of. I don't really hide my progression. I think there's a playlist for every year since 2015 or 14 when I started the 100 Days of Tonalism. That would be the beginning of the channel. And after that, I thought, well, I guess I'll just start sharing my stuff. The 100 Days of Tonalism was a project I did where I did just a small painting after a tonalist master. And I trolled those out every day for 100 days. Yeah, I didn't get them done in 100 days. It took more than that. But with all the prep and everything else involved. Anyway, that was the genesis of the channel. I thought, well, there's not much out there about this type of painting I love so much, this tonalism. I guess I can just start putting stuff out there about my take on it. And that eventually led to the book and a lot of other great things, and sharing my work online. And that's just, not everyone, I guess, can do this, I just love to record the process of the painting as well as doing the painting. This is linear, right? We see a progression, but once the painting's done, although this stuff would have just without being recorded, much like music or much like anything else, in a sense, painting is a performance art, I see it as that. No, the performance isn't really designed to be outward facing. Right, I'm not painting this painting the way I'm painting it so that you can, I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it to make a beautiful painting, but I can record it and I can share it and I can pass tips along about painting. And I imagine if you're watching this, you care about painting and you like probably painting yourself, and hopefully you are getting some good stuff off of this. Let's see if we can see, now when I do these little scenes, I probably should just start leaving the red tree from the board. That does look neat, but I'll bring in like a brownish umbery gray. These waves in the oh, by the way, I should mention in the members area you can see the reference image nice and clear and clean. And a lot of times I'll have a pre-mixed color session. I didn't do that in this case, but in the live videos there's a lot of communication going on about the colors I'm using and why I'm picking them, and general thoughts about the painting as it's coming together. It's really like you were there in the studio, fly on the wall, that kind of thing. I'm real happy with the way I pulled off the waves here. That's what I was going to say. In the reference image, they were just a tiny little streak. I decided to play that up. And the other thing I was watching out for here, we got just a minute left, a real challenge, and I've failed on this before, but here I think I pulled it off, where we have kind of this linchpin where all the strong lines of the painting are bringing us up to the base of the tree. Right, we have this, the waves, and they're creating these like pie slices in a sense, these sort of arcing pie slices. But they do work because the resolution is the tree itself, which we follow. It takes us to the base of the trunk. We go up in the trunk and we're up in the foliage. We're moving around and then we recycle again. Not to mention that, but that area right above where the lightness is hitting the path next to the trunk, I really worked pretty hard on that. Oh, there you see me put in just a very light little straight little branch, and I always point that out because I remember when many years ago when I was painting trees, I was always thinking, well, more branches is good. I think the least amount of branches as you can get away with. We'll just make that a policy. I've already made that a policy with sky holes. You want to minimize your sky holes to the bare minimum. And we'll make that policy just the same for the branches. Anyway, thanks for joining me today. I hope you're having a great, what are we here? We're going into spring here in New Zealand. A lot of you guys are wrapping up your summer up there. So I hope that's going real well. And until I come back with another video for your edification and enjoyment, do me a favor, do me a solid. Take good care of yourself, your family, all your loved ones. And God bless you. Thank you for your support of this channel. I really appreciate it. And until I come back with another video, stay out of trouble and fight the power.